Hi, I'm Bob. Let's finish the exercises for the last part of Chapter 4 about reviewed preference. Here's exercise 5.1. The consumer spends her weekly income of $30 on chocolate Q1 and shampoo Q2. Initially, when the prices are P1 equals $2 equals P2, she buys Q1 equals 10 and Q2 equals 5. After the prices change to P1 equals $1 and P2 equals $3, she purchases Q1 equals 6 and Q2 equals 8. Draw her budget lines and choices in a diagram. Use a reviewed preference argument to discuss whether or not she's maximizing her utility before and after the price changes. In the first price system, where both prices are $2 and represented by the budget line L1, the first bundle costs her 2 times 10 plus 2 times 5 equals $30. And the second bundle costs her 2 times 6 plus 2 times A equals $28. She can afford both bundles, but she prefers the first bundle, E1. You can find that E2 is inside her opportunity set, but she did not choose it. In the second price system, where P1 equals $1 and P2 equals $3, and represented by the budget line L2, the second bundle costs her $30 and the first bundle costs her $25. She can afford both bundles, but she prefers the second bundle E2. You can see that the bundle E1 is inside her opportunity set, and she did not choose it. There is a contradiction between her two choices. She is not maximizing her utility. Let's solve exercise 5.2. Analyze the problem in exercise 5.1, making use of equation 4.16. Equation 4.16 is the mathematical expression of the law of demand. It means the price and the quantity move in opposite directions. When the price rises, the quantity falls. We can check whether the consumer's choice is consistent with the law of demand using this inequality. For Q1, we have its prices and quantities before the price change and after the price change. We plug them into the equation and find that it is positive. Similarly, for the good Q2, we have its prices and quantities before and after the price change. For Q2, the product of the difference in prices times the difference in quantity is also positive. Both are not consistent with the inequality for the law of demand. Let's do exercise 5.3. The consumer chooses between clothing Q1 and food Q2. His initial income is $1,000 a month. P1 equals 100 and P2 equals 10. At his initial bundle, he consumes Q1 equals 2 and Q2 equals 80. Later, his income rises to $1,200, and the price of clothing rises to P1 equals 150. But the price of food does not change. As a result, she reduces his consumption of clothing to 1 unit. Using a reviewed preference reasoning, can you determine how he ranks the two bundles? In the first step, we obtain his consumption bundle after the price change. Suppose he spends all his income on the two goods after the price change. That is, he spends $1,050 on food. The first price is unchanged, so the consumption bundle after the closing price change is Q1 equals 1 and Q2 equals 105. In the second step, we compare the two bundles. Bundle E1 contains 2 units of Q1 and 80 units of Q2. Bundle E2 contains 1 unit of Q1 and 105 units of Q2. Before the price change, the bundle E1 costs him $1,000 and the bundle E2 costs him $1,150. He had only $1,000, so he could not afford bundle 2. After the price change, E1 costs him $1,100 and E2 costs him $1,200. Since his income increased, he could afford both bundles, but he chose E2. With this information, we know that he prefers E2 to E1. Let's solve exercise 6.1. In the challenge solution, suppose the housing was relatively less expensive and food was relatively more expensive in London than in Seattle, so that the LL budget line cuts the LS budget line from below rather than from above, as in the challenge solutions figure. So that the conclusion that Alex is better off after his move still holds. Explain the logic behind the following statement. The analysis holds as long as the relative prices differ in the two cities. Whether one price or the other is relatively higher in London than in Seattle is irrelevant to the analysis. Alex's optimal bundle in Seattle is E1, where his budget line LS is tangent to his indifference curve I1. If his firm adjusts his income so that he can buy the same bundle E1 in London as he did in Seattle, his new budget line in London LL must go through E1 but have a different slope. Suppose housing is relatively less expensive in London than in Seattle. The budget line LL is flatter than LS, and it cuts the indifference curve I1. Alex's new optimal bundle, however, is E2, where his new budget line is tangent to a higher indifference curve I2. He is better off in London. As long as the relative prices differ in the two cities, the consumer can always substitute toward relatively less expensive goods and achieve a higher utility level after the inflation-based cost of living adjustment. In other words, if the consumer can buy the same bundle after the income adjustment, her utility can increase when she consumes more relatively inexpensive goods and less relatively expensive goods. The statement is true, given that the consumer has the usual shaped indifference curves that are convex to the origin. Thank you very much for solving the exercises with me today. See you soon in the next chapter. Take care. Thank you for watching this video and subscribing to my YouTube channel. See you next time.